Ah, you ever notice how the people who finally get some money are the same ones who lose it the fastest? It's not a coincidence. There's this moment, this invisible fork in the road, where your first real chunk of cash shows up, and you have about 72 hours to decide who you're going to become. Most people fail that test. This is Professor Chalkman, and I'm about to show you why your first $20,000 is actually a psychological trap and how to escape it. So picture this. You're 24, maybe 25, you've been grinding, saving every dollar like it's going to disappear. And then one day, you check your account, and there it is, $20,000. Real money. For the first time in your life, you're not broke. You're not checking your balance before buying coffee. You feel powerful. And that's when the trap clicks shut. See, here's what happens next. You tell yourself, I worked hard for this. I deserve to enjoy it. And you're right, you do. But, here's the problem. Your brain doesn't know the difference between I deserve this and I deserve everything. So you buy the new phone, upgrade your wardrobe, take that trip, get the car with the heated seats because, you're not a peasant anymore, right? And 6 months later, you're back at zero. Except now you've got subscriptions you forgot about, a gym membership you're totally gonna use, and a watch that cost $900 that you wore twice. You know what nobody tells you? Your first $20,000 isn't a reward. It's a test. It's life asking you a question. Who are you about to become? And most people, they answer wrong. Let me tell you a story. I knew a guy, Tim, saved every penny, lived with his parents till he was 26, hit $22,000 in his account, and you know what he did? Bought a used Toyota for $4,000, got certifications for $5,000, put the rest in savings he couldn't touch. 3 years later, Tim owned his own business, clearing 6 figures now. But here's the other guy, Kyle. Kyle got his $20K from a settlement. First thing he did, bought a Dodge Charger, 24% interest, then the rims, then the sound system. 6 months later, Kyle's back at the same job. Except now he's got a car payment he can't afford and credit card debt from celebrating. You see the difference? Tim treated $20,000 like seed money. Kyle treated it like lottery winnings. And here's the brutal truth. The way you treat your first real money tells you everything about your relationship with wealth. See, money doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't care that you worked hard. Money only responds to one thing: instruction. You either tell it where to go, or it tells you where it went. And most people, they let money make decisions for them. They see a sale and think, I'm saving money. No, you're spending money you weren't going to spend. That's not savings. That's marketing. Here's what people get wrong. They think the goal of money is to spend it. Like the whole point of having $20,000 is to turn it into $0 as efficiently as possible. But that's not what money's for. Money is a tool. It's leverage. It's options. When you've got $20K, you're not rich, but you're dangerous. You can invest in yourself. Start something. Take a risk that people with $0 can't take. But the moment you spend it on stuff that depreciates, cars, clothes, gadgets, you just traded your future for a dopamine hit. Look, I'm not saying don't enjoy your money. I'm saying there's a difference between enjoying your life and sabotaging your future. You know what's crazy? The wealthiest people I know, they're not flexing on Instagram. They're driving 10-year-old Hondas and buying real estate. Because they understand something most people don't. Your first $20,000 is a character test. It shows you whether you think like a consumer or a builder. Consumers buy things that make them feel rich. Builders buy things that make them get rich. And the scary part? You only get one first $20,000. You can't rewind. You either build momentum or you reset to zero and start grinding again. Here's what most people don't realize. Rich people didn't get rich because they made a lot of money. They got rich because they kept a lot of money. They understood that wealth isn't about what you earn. It's about what you don't spend. You ever notice how your broke friends always have the newest iPhone? Meanwhile, the millionaire down the street is rocking a phone from 2019? That's not an accident. That's philosophy. So let me ask you something. If you got $20,000 tomorrow, what would you do with it? Be honest. Not the version you tell people at dinner parties. The real version. Would you invest it? Build something? Or would you finally treat yourself to that thing you've been eyeing? See that answer? That's your financial future talking. Now look, I know what some of you are thinking. Chalkman, I'm young. I've got time. I'll save later. Sure. And you'll also start working out later and eating healthy later. Here's the thing about later. It never shows up. Later is where dreams go to die. Later is a graveyard full of good intentions and people who thought they had more time. Your first $20,000? It's not just money. It's a vote. Every dollar you spend, that's a vote for your priorities. When you blow $3,000 on a vacation, you'll scroll past next year. You're voting for temporary pleasure over permanent progress. When you finance a car you can't afford, you're voting for the appearance of success over the reality of it. And here's the part that hurts. Nobody's going to stop you. Nobody's going to grab your hand at the checkout and say, hey, maybe don't. Can you delay gratification? Can you say no to yourself? Can you choose who you're becoming over who you are right now? Because that's what wealth is. It's not about the money. It's about the person you have to become to keep it. I'll tell you what changed my life. I stopped asking, can I afford this? And I started asking, what will this cost me? Not in dollars, in time, in opportunity. Because everything you buy costs you more than money. That car costs you 5 years of payments. That trip costs you the investment you didn't make. And comfort? Ha ha ha. Comfort is a trap disguised as a reward. So here's what I want you to understand. If you spend your first $20,000, you'll learn how fast money disappears. If you invest it, you'll learn how fast money grows. And the difference between those two lessons? That's the difference between struggling for the next 20 years and building something that lasts. You're not broke because you don't make enough money. You're broke because you don't respect money. And the moment you start treating your dollars like soldiers instead of toys, everything changes. So the next time money shows up in your life, whether it's 20,000 or 200, ask yourself, am I about to pass the test or repeat the lesson? Because your future, it's not built on what you earn. It's built on what you keep. This is Professor Chalkman, and you already know what needs to change.